Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, JRose. Thanks for tuning into the JRose Experience. I'm super excited about today's episode. We got a special treat for you guys. We have poetic twins. Yes, twins that are out here doing the damn thing in the poetry scene. We have Frederick and Mic, with a C. They came through to talk to us about free will versus fate. When does free will end and fate begin? They get really deep into it and definitely drop some gems for us. And we also had a little bit of fun during our off the top game, so make sure you stick around and tune in for that. Stick around. Keep growing. Welcome, guys, to the JRose Experience. We are here in season 3. We are in Philly, and we're bringing the heat from Philly to you guys. I'm super excited to introduce to you my first guest today. He is a father, a poet, and he works at a children's hospital, and I'm super interested to know about that. So please, without further ado, welcome my guest, Frederick. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. I'm super excited. I'm glad you were able to come through. I want to get right into it and just dig into your life. Because as I was looking into you, because you know I gotta stalk all my guests.
Oh,
I was like stalking, and I saw that you work at a children's hospital. So. Tell me, well, first I want to know, do you ever perform your poetry for the kids that are sick?
No.
No?
I don't think I have anything that's child appropriate for the most part.
Oh.
I mean, it's something to think about, though. It is something to think about. But,
yeah, like inspire them. Maybe they could write through, whatever they're dealing with.
Yeah, so, but I work in the ER. It'd be,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it would be a little different. Like, on the floor, you get to see patients a little more often than you would.
Yeah.
So, typically, some patients could be there from anywhere for a couple of days to, we've had patients stay as long as like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but in the ER, we turn around. I do see regulars, though, people who,
they get hurt a lot, or?
It's like sickle cell patients, some people who grow up with some things that just, they have to be in the hospital.
Wow. Well, how did you end up working with children?
My mom was already in the medical field. I started off as an EMT on the trucks, so the ambulances, yeah. And then my first job ended up being a vendor for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And I just worked my way into that place. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you always want the cushy hospital job.
Yeah, so wait, but you're like being an AMT and then being in the ER, that seems like a lot of like high pressure, an intense kind of
Oh, it can be.
space.
Yeah, it can be. We worked events. We would do 911 calls and things like that. So like you got to be quick on your feet.
Well, like
for sometimes it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
So, you've got to be on it, and working in Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all loud out here. I was telling you when you got here, did I leave New York at all? Like
yeah, until you walk into a hospital, you see how loud it can get.
Really?
Yeah, I've transported the stabber and the person that guy stabbed, and then someone else who had it gets crazy. Yeah,
oh my God. What's like one of the craziest things you saw working in the medical field?
The craziest, it would probably be that story. It would probably be that story.
So the person that stabbed the other person also got hurt?
Oh yeah, so here's what happens, right? I'm in the ambulance and I'm getting ready to pull off, and Philly PD, the cops, like bang on the back of the ambulance, and I'm like, oh, because I was about to pull off, and I'm like, what happened? We want to see if this guy can identify him. So I'm like, okay, I hop out to go unlock the doors from him, and I go over there and I see this guy. This man has blood everywhere because. It's not because he stabbed. It's not the person's blood. They just beat his behind that bed. Like, I'm like, how is he gonna recognize this guy? This guy has a whole other head. It was bad. So like, I look and I'm like, okay. So I open it up, and the guy looks at it. He's like, "That's not him."
What?
So come to find out, this guy got stabbed by somebody completely different. Yeah, so at that point,
it's just like random stabbings going on? Like,
it's Philly, man.
Yo, Philly, get it together. That's scary.
Oh, yeah, you know.
But, you know, you're a dad as well. So how, like, does that affect you when you're working? Like, do you feel like it's like an emotional...
I hug my kids a little tighter every day. You know, a lot of people... it's one of the questions I get a lot. And it can be... It's a lot of pressure and emotional and anxiety, like when you think about your kids at home and things like that. But unfortunately, we've had a lot of kids pass away, like in our ER and things like that. Some we were, you know, able to bring back, and sometimes, you know, a lot of times actually that's not always what happens.
Oh, that's so sad. I don't know how, like, people that work with children in hospitals, like, I feel like you have to have like this strength in you, because I'd be crying like all day long.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean, I've seen plenty of people break down, especially after those moments.
Yeah.
It's got to the point where, like, I just excuse myself from the trauma bay when they go to call the time of death.
Yeah.
And the first few times I've been in there, like, you know, I've stayed in there and just like, it's always the same feeling.
Yeah. Is there something that you do to like help you decompress all that heaviness?
Yeah, you take 5-10 minutes in the bathroom and you get ready for whatever's about to come after that. Sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's not just one, sometimes it's 2, 3.
Yeah.
I haven't had a day where it was like crazy, like more than 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But like house fires and things like that tend to like, they get bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is like your poetry, your way of writing, a part of you to like a way for you to like deal with?
Oh yeah, poetry. Yeah, I decompress with poetry. Absolutely. Yeah.
When did you start writing?
I was like, so I've always been writing, but poetry, I didn't get into poetry until I was like 15 years old. I think around there. My teacher, my creative writing teacher, showed me a deaf poetry jam.
Oh, that's it.
From there, it was
lit.
Like, let's go. But it was just, you know, the raw emotion and watching them perform, and honestly, like at the time, I had lost a friend or whatever, and you know, we all grieve in the way we grieve or whatever. And I remember one time, like I was just yelling at the ceiling because, like, my friend, he was my age, and it was just, it was one of those things, like, you know, everyone asks why and things like that. But to like see certain poems be performed, but in that moment, like when I thought back about that, it was just one of those things where you just letting all your frustrations out.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I perform, it's one thing, right? But like when I'm writing, it's another. But when I perform, something just comes out of you.
Yeah.
So I've taken poems and I've performed them, like, let's say a year later.
Yeah.
And that space in which you wrote that poem is still there.
Yeah.
So you go to perform it, and then you just like, woo!
You're like, oh.
Yeah. I, one time, so, you know, all the IG lives and things like that started happening. I was at work, actually, and I just hopped on an open mic. I had time. And I had remember a poem that I did about my son, and I just started, you know, reading it or whatever on the IG Live, and then like I kind of just broke down. It was just a bad place I was in, but like I immediately had returned to that space, and I was just like.
Yeah. Do you ever have to like prepare yourself then, like before a performance, if you have like a heavy poem?
Not really. I kind of anticipate that.
So you already know.
Yeah, especially if you know what you're going to perform. You kind of like, all right, yeah.
Let's go.
But emotion just adds to it, man. The rawness, and I've seen people perform and, you know, been hurt by like everything they said.
Yeah,
like,
you feel it.
Yeah, I used to go perform at the Rotunda.
Is that like the hot spot out here to perform at?
At the time it was. I don't know if it is now. It's been a while since I've actually performed like in an open mic.
Same for a lot of us.
But I had went there and this girl was doing a sexual assault piece, and I could tell you, like, my hand was just like start going in between my lap. It's like you just get real
Tense up,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
It's so
See,
poetry
poet
does.
words are powerful.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's... So your kids, you ever perform for them?
It's not really child appropriate, but you know what? The one time I had friends over and we were like kind of workshopping.
Okay.
And my son wrote a poem. He wrote a poem. And
did you like encourage him to do more?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Get them notepads and things like that. I feel like a lot of, and not even just not for women but men. There's definitely, that's a tool in which people use to decompress. Because you know, some people don't believe in therapy. So
facts. Therapy is so crucial.
Yeah.
I have a weird question.
Oh,
What you looking fresh today? So like, I want to know, what is your favorite pair of shoes to wear when you perform?
Favorite pair of shoes?
Yeah, I like shoes. What can I say?
I don't need, it'll probably be some Chelsea boots.
Yeah, those are nice.
Thank you. You know, outside of like the other day, I bought a pair of Nikes. I didn't buy a pair of sneakers for like 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not a big sneakerhead either, but I do have a few like that I love.
Yeah, but you know, y'all also love shoes.
Yeah, I do love shoes. Yeah.
I walked into this girl's house one time and we go to her room and her collection of shoes probably cost more than my damn car. It was insane. Like, they were like Louis Vuittons.
She sounds like an awesome girl.
Yeah, I walked in there, I'm just like...
like, where are you walking to, girl?
Well, yeah, seriously.
So, you ready to share some poetry with us?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's
do it.
Cool. We'll be right back with a performance from Frederick. Peace.
For as long as we've been on this soil, hope has been dangled by ropes hanging from trees. Hope has been a noose around our necks. I hope they call you murderers as much as they call us niggas. I hope every time someone coughs, you suddenly can't breathe and have to take a knee to catch your breath, and it takes no less than 8 minutes and 46 seconds to not feel like death. I hope your children play with real guns, so you can feel how we feel when our kids play with toy ones. I hope every song you listen to has violin chords throughout the instrumental, so it's instrumental in hearing the click of the trigger that triggers tenacious ripping reels. I hope it feels so real, the pain shoots through the skin on your back. I hope the black alley cats track your every move to remind you. I hope that one day you fear us like we feared you. In the presence of our dark hues, you take flight. Duck, duck, duck. Dodge, dip, zig, and zag, the echoes of bullets from your own gun. I hope you run like your life depends on it. I hope your life depends on it. And when you run, you hit tall fences traced by barbed wire like a mod when he jogged. And I hope when you yell for the guards and when you yell for God and when you yell for your mother, they fall silent and feel as helpless as George Floyd's mama. I hope I chance for the dead, drown the cries for you alive. I hope no one sympathizes. Hope every time you eat Skittles, you never get to die just because they exit from a wound in your chest. I hope for policy changes in heaven, and they make hate crimes equivalent to suicide, and you have to ride the rest of your dead lives in hell with your brothers. I hope one day you're afraid of wearing your color. Who am I kidding? I hope one day your color becomes a weapon. Who am I kidding? Oh, Buddhism is a part of God's plan, and you come back as black, attached to be destined to an attack by the power of a badge and the hate of your skin. I hope you're pinned to the ground with the need of your back as an officer feels the need to grant you a bullet for being black. And I hope you make your departure, but you never make your train. I hope the city burns and the smoke colors the sky gray and everyone has to scream, I can't breathe. I hope Freddie screams, how does it feel now, as he chooses to never rain dance on the crowds? As he chooses to never rain dance on the clouds. Out there before the bell tolls for your wedding, it tolls for your funeral, and you never get to wake a wife a widow. I hope the sun's rays shards cut through your pigment in the dried brooks of melanin, leave your word colorless. I hope you go blind and black is the only fucking color you get to see. I hope Sean Metorosa is the presiding judge and he swings his hammer like a gavel, decides you're guilty without a deliberation by a jury of your peers. I hope. Equality is hope, and hope is a fucking joke. Our murders laugh at family gatherings while families while families cry at funerals. The difference is they can have a flurry of family gatherings, but there's only so many kids we convert. I know people who aren't poets that use the word genocide to describe these times. Hope has been the nooses that kept us tied down or tied up the crux. So fuck you and fuck hope, sir. I'm gonna need you to relax. Nah, fuck that. I hope it's only ended in more bullets and blood. That's the only fucking hope we've gotten, sir. Bang. Nooses hang. Hope bang. Hope.
From the brand that redefines the chivalrous style of today's gents comes their exclusive Key to the City collection. I'm super hyped about this collection because no matter where we go with the JRose Experience, no matter what city we're in, I'm gonna be able to rep for New York and people gonna know where I'm from. Hit up Gent and Scholar to rep for your city, including keys to Atlanta, Chicago, DC, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, Philly, St. Louis, and of course, New York. So head over to gentandscholarcode.com and use the discount code JRose10 for 10% off your purchase of $50 or more. Keep growing. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. I'm here with my next guest. And no, you're not seeing double. No, there was no outfit change. This is a whole new person, okay? I'm here with Mike, who happens to also be twin of our first guest, Frederick. How cool is that? Like twin poets. That's like a dream come true, right? Welcome.
Thank you.
He's the shy one, guys. So we were talking earlier when you first got here, and we were talking about this like duality that you have going on. Like you are actually a very quiet and shy person, right?
Yeah.
But your poetry and like your whole fashion style is not shy.
Yeah, it's loud. It's loud.
So so was that your way of like coming out of your shell?
I'm a very weird person. Like
Weird?
Once I get to know people, like I'm not shy. Like like this whole situation right now, I'm kind of like nervous and all. But like when you would see me learn, I'm like everybody here. You'd be like, you would never think it. You would never think I'm shy. But poetry is definitely a way for me to just like scream and just say what's really on my mind about things.
So what are some of the things that's on your mind that you put into your poetry?
Being Black, first and foremost. I'm not really a big fan of politics, but you know, in this time, you really have to pay attention to the things going on.
Absolutely.
Love, and not just like relationship love, because it took me a while to figure out that love just isn't about
relationships.
A relationship, it's friendships, self-love. That's a big thing. That's really it. I'm trying to branch out into more things now, because this year was a really big teaching experience as far as poetry goes, because I met so many poets, and then I was part of this collective called La Cocina.
Oh, yay. Y'all be cooking poetry?
There you go. Yes! You got it. There you go.
I'm smart.
So it was a bunch of us, and we would just push each other, like, write about this, and then they would give writing prompts, and the writing prompts would be like just out there.
Random stuff.
Random stuff. You just talk about the spoon on the counter or something like that. But it was a challenge, but it also helped me grow. So shout out to them, by the way.
Really? So you took this time to kind of expand your creativity.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned learning that love isn't just about relationships. How were you able to learn that lesson?
So I wanted to write a love poem.
Okay.
And it's just like, you don't have any love poems? Women always think like you're a poet, you should have love poems.
No, we don't always have love poems, right, people?
Right, we don't at all. But and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all my past relationships, and sure I was in love, but they didn't work out. So I'm like, well, how can I write about love? And then I thought about my brother. And I'm like, I love my twin brother. I love my twin brother. Yes. So it kind of went from there, and then what came of it was pretty cool. So
really, So your writing prompt squad, right? How crucial was that for you to survive in this pandemic?
Very. I didn't know like depression before this year.
Wow.
And it was like, I don't know, just like the weight of everything going on with like the Black experience and then the pandemic and all that stuff is like when you're sitting at home and you have nothing to do, you're just stuck with all your thoughts.
Yeah.
So being able to go, like we were on Zoom and stuff because Zoom's a new thing.
Zoom,
but
yeah.
We're on Zoom calls
Zooming.
and we're sitting here, we're having conversations, we're talking about different things, and that kind of takes your mind off of everything that's going on the outside world. Because when you're isolated, and you're by yourself, all those things come weighing down on you. So again, shout out to them if you're watching.
So being in the pandemic, obviously you wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
So how did your love for fashion, like how did that affect your love for fashion?
It was trash.
Were you like getting
buying
dressed at
stuff
home?
though? That's the bad thing. I was still like buying sneakers and stuff, and it was like I'm not even gonna wear these things.
Like, where am I going in this?
Right. But I had my outfits picked out for when I was able to go. Just saying.
Are they like hanging in the closet?
Nah,
You're
they're
just
not
like,
hanging in the closet.
One day I'm gonna wear you when we
just
can
mental
go.
notes. Just mental notes.
I love it. So for your fashion sense, because I'm a big shoe person. I mean, you don't know, but now you know. I'm a big shoe person. I love shoes. What is your favorite pair of shoes to perform in?
To perform in.
Yeah. What's your stage shoes?
It has to be, I would say either these.
Those are fly.
These, or I have a pair of Nike Dornbachers.
What?
All right, so there's this hospital, basically, a children's hospital. They get together with Nike and they collab with some kids with different diagnoses or diseases and stuff like that, and they create their own shoe. So this kid, I can't think of his name right now.
Okay.
But he created this Air Force, and the Nike sign was made in roses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of detail around it and stuff. So
where can I get those?
Probably on StockX. I paid $150 for them. They're probably run for about $400 now.
Damn.
Yeah, so
are you the guy I can go to if I need sneakers for the low?
No, I am not.
It's like,
not
no.
at all. Do not put that pressure on me.
Because there's those people,
No, yeah. I wish I knew some of them for real. But these are probably my favorite pair. I would lean more towards those because they really have a message behind it. It has survivor written on the side because I think it was a vascular malformation that he had.
Oh, wow.
But, to be that young and be going through things like that and to be able to create something that speaks for other people as well. So,
do you find yourself doing that, like, because you work in a hospital as well, right? Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself like writing to like speak for some of the people that you encounter?
No, but I think like they help with writing, I think. And they definitely teach me a lot because you never know what someone's going through.
Yeah. You
really never know what someone's going through. And
what's one of like the most eye-opening lessons that you learned?
All right, so I always make jokes, especially when I was younger. Not now. But
yeah, because you're shy now. So.
right. I always make jokes, right? So this kid comes in, and he was having like chest pains, right? So he comes in, takes off his shoes, and I notice his socks are like black, but they're not supposed to be black. They're white. They're supposed to be white. And I'm sitting here in my head, I'm like, damn, this socks dirty as hell. But these are things you think about without really giving it much thought.
Yeah.
And I'm taking them to CAT scan, and at work, I can talk to anybody. By the way, at work, I can talk to anybody. So I'm taking him to the CAT scan and we're having a conversation. He's telling me about his life.
Yeah.
A lot of patients do that.
Of course.
And he's like, yeah, you know, I work at McDonald's. I'm living in my car right now. As soon as he said that, I'm like, wow, Mike, you're an asshole. And then like after that, it was just like, that was a real period of growth for me. Like, you just really never know what's going on with somebody's life. Like, you know, people go and they make jokes about certain things, but you really never know what that person going through. So.
Exactly. So you must meet a lot of people where you're just like, wow, that's crazy that you're...
Yeah. It's, the hospital has so many benefits.
Yeah.
But the real benefit of the hospital is those learning points, those teaching experiences.
Amazing. I like your style.
Thank you.
So how does your sense in fashion influence how you write?
I would have to go back to one of my favorite pair of sneakers. It's just
I love it.
They speak for you, and you have to know how to put things together and weave things together to make it whole, to make it complete. So that would really be it. You know, I tell everybody, you can write a poem and you think it's done, but it's not really done. So when you get those pieces together, then it's complete. You fly, and everybody's feeling what you're saying.
Do you ever write about your outfit? Like, this is the hottest outfit? Or
no, I don't think I'm always getting deep. I'm always getting deep with mine, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna send you a prompt. Like, write a poem about your favorite pair of sneakers.
Oh, man.
That's what I want. I love it.
I'm gonna do it. I got you.
Bet. You got some poetry for us?
Yeah.
Let's see what the other side of this duality looks like. Okay, we're gonna bring him to the mic and have Mike spit some shit. You ready?
I'm ready.
We'll be right back with a performance from Mike. Please.
I pray you never meet your maker, boy. That his arms never gift wrapped around your body, and before the eve, you better be aware there are bad apples that shouldn't be present on Christmas. I pray he never attends your birthday to witness the wishes on your wish list come true, or come through to yell at any quarter of your game, just takes his head and tail and flips in an abyss the moment you kick, so you only receive him to wish you well, on the off chance that you should ever meet him. I hope when you see him, it's only to greet him. I hope you never know enough about him to be him. I've seen what broken men do when they raise boys. Boy becomes stunt double. Growth stunts work in the trunk. Family tree becomes a stump. Boy doesn't become man, just chump. Chump change, nicks, quarters, dimes, chump change. But by this time, it's too late. So I pray you never meet your maker. Your mother never makes a living to raise her dead son. Her eyes in the casket, her sunset in. Sunrise echoes in your coffin, but you ain't Christ. I hope she never knows that hurt of you crucified on cross streets, because your father treated streets like church. You thought he was God. So lost in his religion you couldn't tell. Hope heaven to take your mind off of the fact that your mother will go through hell. I pray for that lady. I couldn't imagine the weight of carrying a dead child, like you were still born, but you were still born, so your premature death only makes sense when she says, why they take my baby? I pray you never meet your maker. So you never meet your maker. I pray you never meet your father. You never marvel at him like he be Iron Man, so you end up in a box due to being in front of that Iron Man, or in a box behind that Iron Man. I pray you never try to fill his shoes. I know you can walk them out, but prisons ain't that big, coffins ain't a place to live. I pray this peace finds you before you find his. Tell your mother don't go looking for the cause of your death. The accessory to your crimes is child support, worth, prison visits in court, life support, body, lie, breath left on F&E. That's life cut short. See, tell your father don't bother his son, because the only thing some fathers could do as a father is not bother to be one.
Whether it's tax season, the holidays, or whatever falls in between, you want to make sure that you're being smart with your money. So go visit my girl, Queen Candace, at the Queen Blueprint to learn how to gain your financial freedom. You could get a personalized debt payoff plan, a full financial overview, and learn to repair your relationship with money. Smarter money moves are waiting for you at www.thequeenblueprint.com or call 877-387-BLUE. Use code JRose20 for 20% off of all our financial services. And we're back. Thanks for sticking around. I'm here with both my guests, Frederick and Mike. Yes, they are twins, like for real. They're not just like friends that look like each other. They're actually twin brothers, right? Who's the oldest?
You guess. Oh.
You
guess how long?
You
guess how long?
All right. How? What? Like 5 minutes. Oh, you took your time with your shy ass.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not ready to come out.
We're almost born on different days.
Stop. You
53 minutes.
You took that long to come out?
Yeah, once he got out, I had all this space, so I had to take it.
He was like starfish in the womb. That's awesome. Do you guys ever perform together?
I keep getting on him about it. I mean, have we performed together?
No,
not
like
on the same.
not
like
in
a
the
duo,
same.
like a-
yeah, like a collab.
Oh yeah.
No, not a collab.
no.
You've never
I keep
collabed
telling him.
together?
I keep telling him, but you know.
What's your excuse?
My excuse?
Oh, you got kids, you
No,
family,
no,
I
to
got
be-
time.
I'm a slacker slack.
You just
Well, at least he
slacking.
owned it. At least he owned it.
Oh yeah, I got a ton of notes of unfinished poems. We call them, I call them ... poems.
Dot.
Yeah, so I'll like
I
start.
have a lot of those.
I'll start writing a poem, and then like I'll like go and tell someone, and then I'll be like ... and then
That's it.
Which doesn't make sense because he's the one that put me on the poetry, and apparently he doesn't finish his work, and I do. So.
Hey, listen, accountability is my thing.
But you put him onto poetry, and you were rapping before, right?
I mean, we both rap.
You rap too?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit,
come
bars,
on.
okay. Shit.
All right, killer.
We going to like a cipher or something. All right, well let's talk about something else. All right. I learned a lot of interesting things about the both of you, so I think that this would be pretty cool to discuss. So I want to know your thoughts on when does free will end and fate begin?
You want to go first?
Go ahead, Mike. Go
I
ahead.
feel like they going, don't fight, guys. All right, this is a nice discussion.
We were on an island at like 12 o'clock in the morning talking about free will. And for me, I guess you have to, like, people who have free will are an anomaly, if you will, especially when you grow up around really bad places, because your chances of getting out are very slim, right? So if I make it out of that situation, they'll use me as a person that says, well, you can make it out. And it's true, you can, but I know that at least 40 to 50% won't, because their situation is that bad.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of don't agree with free will, because again, you know, you can make your choices, but where I come from, a lot of people don't have that many choices. And that's why I tell him I don't really believe free will exists for everybody.
How about you, bro?
And I will say this, you know, when we were younger, my mother was homeless with us. So she's homeless with twins.
Wow.
And I don't know a worse circumstance in which you wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not saying there isn't a story out there worse than my mother's and our upbringing, but, you know, to hear that a woman, obviously I can remember at that time, but to hear that and see that what she was able to do with that situation. And I guess some of it kind of ties into fate because, you know, my mom did have help along the way. A woman that I call my aunt and I love dearly took her in off of the street. But to see her or to hear the story of her growing up and to see where she is. She lives in some damn suburb in New Jersey now. You know? And it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Yeah.
But her story for me just, I hate to sound cold about it, but like, there's a choice. And I actually had a conversation with a young man at my job, actually, who I told him, I'm like, you know, you have to game the system. You got to figure out what works to get you in a position in which you need to get there. And my father's life was no different. And I kind of get where he comes from because, you know, if you ask my dad, you know, the only thing he's ever known was the streets.
Yeah.
And to his point, it's like, if that's all you know, where do you go from there? What do you do with that? And I think at one point, I think he said he was like 8. So you figure an 8-year-old who's running the streets, running in the streets, all of that, and getting into that life already. What options do they really have? And my stance is always that, yes, I believe in free will. Are our options less? Absolutely. I mean, in any, you know, impoverished neighborhood, it's always going to be like that. You know, when you don't have the money and unfortunately you don't have the resources, that's what it is.
Yeah. But don't you think that there's systems in place in these communities that keep us from having like as much free will as people say we're supposed to have?
Right. Absolutely. And we
no offense.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I guess I gotta take on the both of you now. But absolutely, you know, generational wealth is a thing. You know, unfortunately, we started way later than everyone else.
Yeah.
But
we didn't start. We just weren't allowed to.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Our start,
we didn't have the free will to start.
Yeah. Our start wasn't until much later, and even now, it's still very difficult. But I've seen, and I guess I kind of prove his point when I say I've just seen too many people just do it and you know, come from that place. But I've also seen people who have grown up way better than me still choose that life over the life they could actually have. Yeah. There was this kid who he was very well taken care of. He had by his mom and his grandparents, and he had everything you could ask for. Yeah. And he still turned to that. Yeah. And when people talk about free will, it's not always about the people who have it bad. You also have to think about the people who have it good, who choose to go into that life or just choose to do dumb shit.
Yeah, but I think like I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know you're about to say. I see you.
I just want to say, like, even though I stand on what I said, but like I never want to just, I guess, speaking to everybody here and everybody out there, that, you know, I don't want to suck away anybody's inspiration to become something in life. Yeah. You know, that's not what I'm saying. I just know that for a lot of people, or I feel though, for a lot of people, it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do hear it often, like people that grow up in suburbs or in a more sheltered life, where they're just like, well, why didn't he just decide?
Yeah, we don't listen to their opinions.
Yeah, like, why didn't they just, like,
we don't listen to their opinions.
You know, like, you can do it if you just do really well in school and you get a college degree and you get, like, but, you know, there's even our own education system isn't even set up for us to succeed. Right. In our communities. In other communities, though, I mean, I see the difference just where my children are growing up. They're in a better area. So, like, they have, like, they get to learn how to play instruments. They get to have, like, theater class and all this other stuff. Mind you, me growing up, like, my school could not afford to have instruments for, you know, thousands of kids. Like, there's no way. Right. You know?
It's just a lot. It's just a lot, you know. Like I said, people in impoverished neighborhoods, like, not only do you have to go to school, but you have to worry about what you're going to eat in the morning, if you can eat.
Or not get beat up or robbed for the little bit that you do have. Yeah.
And sometimes, and then I guess on the back end of that too, like, where does fate begin? Honestly, for me, I think it's those things you can't avoid. Those things that just keep
keep
coming.
Yeah.
No matter what it is you do, it just somehow always finds you. And I think that's where fate begins. And sometimes some people just shy away from it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it finds you.
Like poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts. Poetry is fate, right? Yeah. That means hurry up and get on that collab. That's fate.
She caught it.
Don't worry,
right?
you
use that free will.
You ain't the first, and you probably won't be the last.
All right, so y'all ready to play?
Yo, where's my partner at?
Y'all ready to play a game?
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool. It's time for our off the top segment. It's where we play a randomly selected game. We get to pick and see. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I don't know if Fred's ready.
I'm gonna mix it up. Frederick. I feel like that's how I should say your name.
Yeah, you can say it.
My mom definitely said it that way.
I started.
Right.
I had PTSD. I started looking around for a belt. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Will you do us the honors? They're a little slippery, so be careful. What you got there?
6
degrees of separation. Yes! All right, so we are going to write. We're going to pick 3 topics, and we're going to write about them, and we have to connect all 3 of them in 6 lines.
Okay.
You ready to freestyle that shit?
We're going to... Hold on. How many... Who's writing lines?
We're
all writing lines. I'm writing how many lines?
6 lines.
6 lines. Okay.
And you got to connect 3 topics in those 6 lines.
Okay.
We're going to pick the topics. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay, we'll be right back with some 6 degrees of separation. I'm so excited I got both my kids' appointments to get their hair done at Shining Star Kids Salon in Brooklyn, New York. The best part is, I get to pick up a couple of my favorite natural hair products like their Fearless Edge Control, or their Fearless Hair Oil. And these are just some of my favorite products to style my hair with. Head over to ShiningstarKidSalon.com to order from their line of natural products the whole family can enjoy. Or make an appointment if you're in town. Use code JRose20 at checkout for 20% off your online purchase. Keep growing. Ladies, want to know what I love as much as chocolate? Fashion. So of course, I'd end up dressing in some Fashion is My Chocolate styles. Head over to fashionismychocolate.com for collections with unique details, comfortability, and versatility. Use our promo code to be the sweet tooth of fashion no matter what mood you're in. Make sure you enter JRose at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Keep growing. And we're back. All right, Mike, you get to pick the 3 topics. Pick 3 cards, any 3 cards. Let's see. Pick some good ones. Come on, Mike.
Wow. I mean, this should be fairly... Woo!
What you got?
Y'all want to talk about fate again?
Yeah, what we got?
Social injustice, heartbreak, and depression.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got to write 6 lines, and we got to connect these 3 themes.
Just the 3 themes. We don't actually have to use the...
You don't have to use the word, but using the words help. Think of it as like a writing prompt. You like prompts, right? Prompt king. All right, social injustice, heartbreak, and depression. That sounds like 2020. That's my whole poem.
You ain't never known.
6 lines of 2020. All right. Oh, that was heavy. I almost cried writing my own poem. Okay. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah,
all right. What you got?
No, I said who goes first?
Right,
I feel like the youngest should go first.
It's definitely not me.
Just get me out the way. Just get me out the way. All right. Social injustice is just us. What do we do with the weight? When hearts break and it feels like fate. Verdicts got me guessing. Are we ever really be left with its depression? It's depressing.
Ooh.
Like now to the oldest.
That was some bars. All right. right. Let's see, big bro, what you got?
Go ahead. I'll let you go. Because ladies first. See, he's not a gentleman. See,
So you don't want to go. You want to wait.
Ladies first. The
my
first thing
gosh.
he should have said was ladies
Mine
first.
suck. That's why. Okay. All right. Our society has been plagued by injustice, and the only remedies they offer is a little suspect. They want the pain of broken hearts put into syringes that numb our voices and minds, poisoning our communities with depression and hate. When will it change?
Mine suck. Every poet I know. Mine suck and then bars.
I'm glad I went first.
Stop. Thank you.
Damn, I should have went first.
What you got, big bro? Show us.
Oh, he took a deep breath. Oh, damn.
Is he the dramatic one? He's the dramatic one.
I can be.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
After calibrating a mind collides with the times of today, your melanin sweats sadness when the popular vote was just that close. Afraid yesterday and today ain't that different. 20s, 60s, 2020.
Oh my gosh! And he performed it too. Like
it was some good choices.
Nah, yo.
I might have to turn this into a poem.
Right.
Yes. Can this be like the beginning of your collab? I will hold you accountable.
I already have one. I'm just waiting for him to.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question that I ask every single guest that comes on the show. So I have this belief that creative people are superhumans. We have superpowers. We do things that a lot of other people cannot do. Yes, Clark Kent.
Oh no, I got the perfect answer. Go ahead.
So what is your superpower?
My superpower? I think, so to touch on what you said, I think for anybody who is a creative, I say vulnerability is a superpower. Your ability to share your experiences, your emotions with people, just you are a step ahead of just everyone else. You're more than likely probably a beautiful person, but vulnerability, especially for men, is a superpower.
I like that, especially for men. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yes, it is. It's okay to cry. It's
it
okay
is,
to
guys.
cry, big fella.
And it's moments like this, I really don't like being a twin.
What's your superpower?
He stole it, so I'm gonna have to really have to think about it.
I know when to go first and I know when to go last.
Oh my goodness.
That's
a
that
superpower. Wow.
He read your mind. That's what happened.
I would say reaching people. I've been... It's like, for me, it was weird at first. I've been to like high schools performing poetry for students.
Wow.
And I always have this experience where someone cries. And I'm like, when you don't know somebody and you can just sit here and just speak what you feel, and what you feel speaks to them, to the level of them crying, it's a little weird, first of all.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch,
especially at first, but it's like, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
So
that is powerful.
Reaching people with my superpower.
Yeah.
Get all up in your feels.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Right, so what about you? Yeah, come on. Whoa. You gonna ask us?
Wait. I asked the questions. No.
My bad.
No. I guess for me, my superpower would be like, you took my answer. Like, for me,
triplets. All right.
Like, for me, it is like connecting with people, like networking and building with other people. It's just something that like I thrive in that space. So like quarantine kind of like had me shook for like 2 seconds, and then I was like, I could talk to people online. Like, what's wrong with me? And you know, the rest is history.
Hey.
So before we say goodbye to our audience, please tell the audience where they can find you, where they can find your work.
At DBL_IMG. That's Mike, because I'm Mike, and that's Fred. So at DBLIMG, at DBL_IMG, that's on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, Mike Phillips. MIC Phillips.
That's gonna be so easy to find, right?
Right.
You'd be surprised.
I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a Facebook. I just got an Instagram.
Where can they find you on
At
Instagram?
Freddie Rock is FREDDYROC.747.
There we go. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You guys, I love their twins. They're dressed different. Like, it's so cool, but y'all
Yeah,
look alike.
it really is like night and day.
Like polar. I love it. Thanks guys for tuning in. Make sure that you follow us at the Rose Garden events and on Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Instagram at JRose Experience. And I'm your host, JRose. You can find me at My Crumble Thoughts. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Keep going.